Hey everyone, welcome once again to our channel. Today I'm extremely delighted that we have a very special guest with us today. Hi Joy, how are you?
Hi Nawab, I'm really fine. I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm absolutely good. First of all, we are extremely pleased that you have accepted our invitation to join this initiative.
I'm delighted to be here. It's really exciting to connect with other educators and other public figures around the world.
Thank you very much, Joy. So let me inform our viewers that Ms. Joy will be talking about her top 5 tips about IELTS writing task 2. So over to you, Joy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity, and I really hope this is of use to some students out there. I've been teaching IELTS for quite a few years now, but only recently have expanded online, and I've been offering a feedback service, a free feedback service. And through that service, I've discovered that there are some common errors and confusions that I'd love to just highlight. And so I've put together just 5 tips that might help students. And the first one I want to mention is that how important it is to just follow the question closely. There are more or less 4 to 5 different question types, and 2 of those questions are going to ask for your opinion. And if the question asks for your opinion, it's very important that you give your opinion, especially in the introduction. You cannot score a band 7 unless you clearly state your opinion in the introduction and the conclusion. And it doesn't need to be a complicated way of saying your opinion. It just needs to be, I strongly believe that, or I agree that, but it needs to be clear in the introduction. So that's one way to follow the question. Another way to follow the, well, there is, following the question is following the question, but another question might be a 2-part question where you have a premise, and a premise is simply a statement. For example, all cars should be replaced by electric cars. That's the premise. And then it might ask 2 questions about it. And the questions might be, what are the advantages of electric cars, and do you think they are a positive or negative development? So the first body paragraph should simply answer the first question. What could be the advantages? And the second body paragraph should answer the second question. Do you think it's a positive or negative development? So there really is a clear strategy. You simply have to follow the question. My second point, or my second tip, is to make your topic sentences clear. And your topic sentence is the first sentence in your body paragraph. So you have your introduction, and then you should try to do your essay in 2 body paragraphs, and then your conclusion. And your topic sentence is the first sentence of your body paragraph, and it should be very clear. And for example, if it's an advantages, disadvantages essay, the topic sentences should be, there are 2 main advantages to electric vehicles, full stop. And then you explain them. So you shouldn't have a long and complicated topic sentence. Point number 3, or tip number 3, is don't use words you don't understand. And don't use words that you think are academic and will score you really great points. And a couple of words that I keep coming across are elucidate and to recapitulate, and my pet hate is plethora. And so when the examiner sees these words, or when I see these words, I immediately know the essay is going to have lots of errors, because they're not natural words, but the student has learnt them thinking that they sound very good and that they can trick the examiner into giving them a good mark. So you should really only use words that come naturally in the English language. And native speakers don't use to elucidate or to recapitulate or a plethora. And so don't use words that aren't natural in academic writing. Point number 4 is to try to avoid to quote fake studies. So if you are going to say 37% of people who eat apples for breakfast are reported to feel better at lunchtime, this is considered by many examiners as a memorized phrase. So it's much better to be general in your examples and not specific, because it's really an academic skill to quote and to reference a study, and you need to be very, very clear where that study has come from. So it would be much better to say something along the lines of, it is well known that people who eat apples for breakfast feel better at lunchtime. So use more general phrases like it is well known, or people who eat apples for breakfast feel better at lunchtime, but don't quote a study. According to the Scottish Times, 37% of people reported to feel better. So it's very, very likely that if you do quote a fake study, that these words will be taken off your writing as memorized phrases. And then my final point is to keep it simple. The more simple the answer, the better you have of the better chance you have of explaining it well in English. The IELTS isn't a test of your knowledge, or it isn't a test of your opinions on a matter. It's a test of how you can express yourself in English. So I really don't like the idea of brainstorming. I think brainstorming is confusing and overwhelms students. I think you need to think of the most obvious answer to the question, and then test that answer by thinking, can I explain it? And I teach how to use complex sentences to explain ideas, beginning with when or beginning with if. Can I explain that idea? Can I give an example? And if you can explain the idea, and if you can give an example, it's a great idea. You don't need to think of 5 ideas and then choose the best 2. You need to commit to the first 2 ideas you think about, and if you can explain them, then just use them. And the more, that was the 5th point, but the more essays you write and the more practice you do, you will start to develop opinions on matters. And the IELTS questions, the task 2 questions, they are always slightly different, but they are often within the same topics. So you can use the same ideas in different ways in your essays. So the sooner you start practicing, the better. But my biggest tip would be to keep it simple. It's not a test of complicated language. It's a test of your expression and your natural language. I think that would be my top 5 tips.
Excellent, and much appreciated that you have shared all of your experience within just 5 to 8 to 10 minutes maybe. And yeah, that was really an amazing task to do, because lots of people nowadays, because a bunch of material is available online and lots of people are sharing their own tips and tricks. And these are the kinds of videos which people might like to watch. Shorter videos, having a lot of experiences, teachers like you sharing their tips online. So that would be a wonderful platform for the students who are seeking maybe 7 or plus bands. That's point number 1. And point number 2 is I'm really highly impressed with the way you have shared your tips. And the last one, keep it simple. That's what I always tell to my students as well, that you need to make it simple. Do not memorize the words which you cannot execute properly.
Yes,
because
that's right.
If you fail, yes, if you fail in your execution, then it will not fetch you marks. Eventually, your marks will be deducted. So,
Right.
anyways, it's really hard to convince students because they just want to follow the hard words, like the PhD level words.
Yeah.
Lastly, Joy, thank you very much once again for joining our platform today. I hope that we'll be having few more sessions with you so that people might contact you. And lastly, for my aspirants, the contact details of Ms. Joy will be shared in the description box. If you want to follow her, join her, or even contact her for any of your query, you may contact her. Over to you, Joy. Thank you very much. And it was really pleasure having you as our expert guest.
Thank you so very much. And yes, I hope to see you soon. All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.